Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here is Unit 6, Day 4, not 3, Day 4 notes. We're going to create systems of linear equations from word problems. The first thing we're going to do is read the problem. Paul and Chad go to Round Rock Donuts to get treats for a work meeting. Paul buys 5 donuts and 3 cups of coffee and spends $6. Chad buys 3 donuts and 6 cups of coffee and spends $8.85. What is the price for 1 donut and the price for 1 cup of coffee? So in this problem, in all these problems, you're going to look for the 2 things that are most prevalent. And in this, you can usually look at the question. Here's the question right there. You notice it talks about the price of a donut and the price of a cup of coffee. So that's going to become my 2 variables, x and y. It doesn't matter which one is which. So I'm going to come over here and say that x is going to be my price of the donut, so money for 1 donut, and that y is going to be the price for 1 cup of coffee. It's important that you identify your variables, okay? So now we're going to go back and write an equation, one for Paul and one for Chad. So here's Paul's equation. We've got to go back and read. All right, so that's this one right here. Paul is buying 5 donuts. So every donut costs this amount. So 5 is talking about donuts, and so is x, because we told x you're going to be the price of a donut. So we're going to glue these 2 things together. 5 and x become 5x. And then we're going to keep reading. And in first grade, and 1 and 2 is 3. And was a plus sign. So we're going to add to that cost 3 cups of coffee. So 3 is associated with coffee, and so is the letter y. So we're going to glue those together. 3y, and we keep reading, and that equals how much money? $6. So we got money, which we don't know yet, but we got 5 of them, 5 donuts, and 3 cups of coffee equals $6. And we're going to do the same thing for Chad. So if we come over here, we read Chad's sentence. Chad buys 3 donuts. 3 donuts. Donut is still associated with x, so that's 3x. And he bought, in addition to that, he bought 6 cups of coffee. And so y is still associated with coffee, so that's 6y. And that's going to equal to $8.85. Okay, so we got these 2 equations by really just putting these words together and using x for the price of a donut and y for the price of a cup of coffee, because we don't know what they are. That's what it's asking for. All right, so now we're going to solve each equation for y. Magically, that happens right here. You take these equations, you move the x, and you divide by what's in front of y. So we have these 2 things right here. Okay, we're going to grab our calculator. And oh wow, magically they're already there. Seems like somebody prepared for this video. So at this point, we're going to do our second calc, or actually we're going to graph. So we're going to graph, and we're going to see do they cross each other. And in this case, they do. And so now we're going to do our magic keystroke, second calc 5, second calc 5, second calc 5, and we're going to press enter 3 times. If we look down here, we've got x. What was x again? We wrote it up here. X is the cost for a donut, so x is 45 cents. Donut's 45 cents. And what's y? Y is a cup of coffee. How much does it cost? $1.25. All right, the point of intersection were those 2 numbers. X is 0.45 and y was 1.25. And remember, x was the donut and y was the cup of coffee. Price of each item, we just said that. The donut was 45 cents and the coffee was 125. Okay? And that's how each and every one of these problems work. Okay? So we read the next problem. Says Adrian has 24 dimes and nickels in a jar. Well, guess what we have here? We've got dimes and we have nickels. Okay? How many of each coin? We don't know. So we're going to let X equal the number of dimes. And we're going to let Y equal the number of nickels. Okay? So it says to write an equation to describe how many coins. Well, look at right here. Okay? Adrian has 24 dimes and nickels, so he has 24 coins. Okay? They consist of dimes and nickels. And is plus, so if I do this, I've got X, I've got dimes, and Y, nickels, equals 24. So X plus Y equals 24. This is just how many chunks of metal we have. This is not taking account into any value. All right? So, pieces of metal. All right? Now we're going to come back and write the value because the second equation talks about money. So in the second equation, I need money plus money equals money. Okay? Well, I know I have $2.10, so that's the total value, so it's equal to 210. But if I just use X and Y, that doesn't talk about its value. It just tells me how many I have. So I do need the X, I do need the Y, but I need to bring in its value. So I ask myself a simple question. How much is a dime worth? A dime is 10 cents. 10 cents as a decimal is 0.10. So I put that in front of my X to bring in the value of the coin. Over here, it's just talking about how many pieces of metal do I have. This brings in its value. It's very important that you do that. So what am I going to put for nickels? A nickel is 5 cents, and as a decimal, that's 0.05, not 0.5, 0.05. And so now I have my two equations. This one is dealing with money. Money plus money is money. And this is dealing with just how many pieces of circular metal do I have. Dimes and nickel, I got 24 of them. All right, so now we're going to solve each of these for Y and see where they cross, and magically, oh my goodness, it's already solved for Y. This one is as easy as subtracting X from both sides. So I put this in my calculator, one in Y1, the other in Y2. Let's see if this magically appears. Oh, it does. Okay, now you notice over here, I'm not worried about reducing my decimals. I'm just going to use the regular stuff here, let the calculator do the reducing for us. Move the X, divide by what's in front of Y every time. Okay, so I'm going to see if they cross. Now, sometimes it may or may not cross. It's thinking, I got nothing. So at this particular point, what you need to do is you need to do a zoom 3 enter. Zoom 3 enter, and hopefully you'll see them crossing. It's still thinking, yes you do, okay? That was a zoom 3 enter. Zoom 3 enter. And now we can do our second calc 5. Second calc 5, enter, 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 and guess how many nickels I have. Oh, excuse me, dimes. Dimes is X, so this is the number of dimes. And Y is nickels. Oh, guess what? That's the number of nickels. So I have 18 dimes and 6 nickels. That's my point of intersection. This was dimes, and this was nickels. Okay, and identify how many of each coin. I just did that right here. Okay. The same thing is going to happen on the next problem. Okay, you ask yourself, what am I talking about? Well, what are the two different things we're talking about here? We're talking about floor seats, and we're talking about balcony seats. Floor and balcony. Okay? So you come over here, you let X equal one of the two. I'm going to say that's the number of floor seats, and the other is going to be balcony. It really doesn't matter which one you choose which, but this is what I've chosen to do. All right, so how many seats are in the theater? Well, it tells us right there. I've got 650 seats. This is my total number of seats. Total seats, 650. And that consists of two different types, those on the floor and those in the balcony. So the floor and the balcony is going to be 650 seats. Very straightforward. Now, if you notice, and when you read the problem, it talks about money. So now I'm going to need to talk about the total money. So once again, I need money plus money equals money. When you read the problem, it says that if they sell all of their seats, they earn $11,600. That's a lot of money. Okay? Now once again, I've got floor seats that cost a certain amount, and I have balcony seats that cost a certain amount. But I can't just say X and Y. That just tells me I have a seat. I need to bring in the value of each. So let's read. It says floor seats cost $20 each. So floor is $20, X is floor. I need to put a 20 in front of that. And balcony seats cost $12. So in front of the balcony or the Y variable, I'm going to put a 12. So I've got to put the value in so that I have money plus money equals money. And now I have my two equations. I'm going to do the same thing as I did earlier. I'm going to take these and I'm going to magically, oh my goodness, I'm going to solve for Y. Move the X, divide by what's in front of Y. Notice again, I'm not worried about reducing this. So I go to my calculator, I put one of these equations over here in Y1, the other in Y2. Again, I'm not worried about reducing that. And I'm going to see if they come up on my graphing grid. It's thinking, it's thinking, it's thinking over here, nothing. So I do a zoom 3, enter. It's thinking, it's thinking, it's thinking, it's thinking, nothing. Do it again. Zoom 3, enter. It's thinking, it's thinking. Seriously, still nothing? Do it again. Zoom 3, enter. Ah, finally. Here we go. And so I had to do zoom 3, enter 3 or 4 times before I saw the intersection. If that's the case, do it. So now I can do, since I see the intersection, do my second calc 5, enter, enter, enter. And, oh, there we go. How many floor seats? That's X. Floor, I got 475 floor seats. And over here, I've got 175 balcony. Okay, so that's my ordered pair, my point of intersection. And identify the point, how many balcony seats? We said balcony seats were 175. Okay? So, if you're good, go ahead and stop the video now. You don't need to continue on. If you want to see the next one, it works. This one works just like problem number 2, example number 2 on the other side. So it's really not going to be anything new, so you can stop right now. If you do need another example, I'm going to quickly do number 4. Okay? All right, so same thing over here as in example number 2. The only difference is instead of nickels and dimes, we have quarters and dimes. So the two different things that we have here, we got quarters, so I'm going to let X equal the number of quarters. And I'm going to let Y equal the number of dimes. Okay, so how many pieces of metal do we have? How many coins? Right there. Quarters plus dimes, 171. Again, this is just talking about chunks of metal. Now we need to come in and talk about money. All right, so I need money plus more money is equal to total money. Well, the total money Jenny has is $32.85. And again, I need to use the X and the Y, but I can't just leave it like this, because right now I have parallel lines. These lines do not cross. I need to bring in the value of a quarter. A quarter is 25 cents, as a decimal is 0.25. And as a dime, it's 0.10. So now I have money plus money is equal to money. There are my two equations. Solve each of these for y. And we got right there. Get our calculator. Notice we type in the two things solved for y. We're going to see if it shows up. It's thinking, nope. Zoom, 3, enter. It's thinking. Nope, do it again. Zoom, 3, enter. And there we go. We see some lines here. There we go. We see them intersecting. Second, calc 5, enter. And we have our answer. X is the number of quarters. I got 105 quarters, and I have 66 dimes. So that's 105, comma 66. Number of quarters is 105.